Okay. So, do you remember the first line from our gospel a second ago? It was saying that the disciples walked with Jesus all day, and then they recognized him at the breaking of the bread. So that means that these two guys were walking with Jesus all day, and they didn't know it was him. And they were chatting with him on the road. They thought he was just a stranger walking in the same direction. And then, after the entire time, they sat down for a meal, and when Jesus breaks the bread, something clicks within them, and they realize it was Jesus the entire time. What would that be like for us? Well, imagine with me, if you will. Imagine that all of you are wearing really good disguises, all right? Really good disguises, and each and every one of you looks identical. And these disguises are so good that not even your mom and dad can tell which one is you. Okay? With me so far? Okay, so here's my question. With these really great disguises where your mom and dad can't tell who you are, what is it about you that eventually would give you away to your mom and dad? All right, so like would your mom and dad eventually find out it's you because of the way you smell or the sound of your voice? Maybe the way you walk just a little bit differently than everyone else? That's my question. What would reveal your disguise to your parents eventually? Like a clue you just can't help leaving behind. Who's got an idea that would give themselves away?
My voice is a little different than other people's.
Okay, your voice, I believe that. Anybody else? Something else? Yes. Your hands? Interesting. I like that one. I didn't think of that for myself, but that's a good answer. One more. Yeah. Sense of humor? Absolutely. Way that you act? Definitely. For me, for those of you who are curious, at the office during the week, it's definitely the way I gallop, clomp up the stairs every day. I'm like some kind of elephant monkey going up and down the stairs. It doesn't matter who can see me or not, they get out of the way. Betrays me every time. Okay, good job for those of you that answered. Now, this little exercise that we did, that is basically what they're talking about in the gospel reading. Jesus Christ was just there among them, and they didn't recognize him until the breaking of the bread. So the breaking of the bread is the number one thing about Jesus that can't be disguised or hidden. It is how we get to know Jesus Christ. And that means that we're talking about all of it. We're talking about the Last Supper, and the crucifixion, and the resurrection. That's why it's such a big deal at Mass. I mean, we're talking about the last days of Christ and the tremendous sacrifice he made for all of us. And we properly call that Eucharist. And Eucharist, of course, means Thanksgiving. No, not American Thanksgiving. There is never a turkey on the altar. That would be disgusting. All those feathers in the wine. No, I'm talking about Thanksgiving as gratefulness. We are grateful that Christ is a part of our lives through the grace of God, and that when we come to church, we grow in communion with Christ. And that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And that means that it has nothing to do with what those little wafers taste like. It doesn't matter how fancy the chalice is or how plain the chalice is. What matters is that we're celebrating Christ in our lives, and That should be something we want to do every single Sunday. Every single Sunday, celebrating Christ together. So remember, kids, Eucharist is our number one way Jesus is revealed to us. And today is the day you get to participate in that with the rest of us. That is something to truly be joyful over. And the ingredients are just simple bread and wine. So when you come forward for communion in just a few minutes, remember that Christ is absolutely with you to strengthen your soul and gladden your heart.